Somebody asked earlier, what are you going to do about energy prices and housing prices? So getting specific, we bounced around. We talked guns, we talked debates, we talked accountability and transparency. We learned a little bit about you, but yeah, let's talk about the issues that people are affected by day in, day out. We got the big issues that are national issues and that are important as well, but people can't afford a lot of basics and stuff. It's expensive, and our Public Service Commission is a joke. How are you going to fix some of that stuff in the state?
Yeah, man, those are hard issues, and they're on the tongues of every single voter that I talk to. I'll start with housing and affordability. 3 or 4 things here, and not a singular thing. That you can't push one button and fix this affordability and housing crisis, but the state can do things that make it better and make an environment where we have lower housing costs and more affordability. Start with property taxes. I know I've hit that, but this guy jacked up property taxes and rents on every single person in the state of Montana because it didn't do one simple thing, which is adjust the state tax rate. The previous 4 governors have done that. 2 Republicans, Martz and Roscoe, 2 Democrats, Schweitzer, Bullock. They were presented with the same data that Gianforte had, and they said, no, don't do that. Roll that tax rate back so that Montanans don't get slammed. Gianforte says, oh, no, I love that revenue. Let's leave it in there, and then we'll blame county commissioners for it. So first things first, we need to roll back that tax rate. Then we've got the state has a lot of tools that they're not using. Sadly, we have low-income tax credits that we ought to be using. We ought to be funding so that people. I think the most important folks right now in our communities are the people who make our communities go. I'm thinking like nurses, school teachers, cops, firefighters, mechanics, carpenters, like people that without them, the community just does not go. And we ought to be using the tools that have been passed by bipartisan legislators in this state, and we ought to be funding them, and we ought to be making housing more affordable for working folks with the tools that we have. We also have a Department of Labor in this state that Gianforte has turned into some culture war cudgel. I don't know why the hell he's doing that, but the Department of Labor ought to be focusing on increasing labor supply, good union labor supply, so that we can build more homes with more Montana labor. So there are things that we can do that will, over time, it won't be that long, but have a big impact. Gianforte is doing none of them, and he sure as hell isn't making the property tax thing any better. He's made it much worse. So those are just a few things we should be moving on right away.